Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh with FLOSSTUBE number 143 on Sunday the 18th of September 2022. Welcome back to another weekly, mostly weekly instalment of my life, stitchy life, what's been going on. Appreciate everyone who comes back every week and welcome to any newbies as well. It's nice to see you here. Yeah, it's Sunday and despite having not stitched a couple of days and having been out a couple of nights, somehow managed to get quite a few X's in, but you know, who's surprised, right? Thanks for everyone for their well wishes. Back's fingers crossed, back is pretty good, and even the sort of dull niggle has gone, I think, so I'm back to not thinking about it, which is a really excellent thing. Managed to put a pair of not high but boots with some heel on yesterday for the first time in maybe 3 weeks, and was happy sort of trotting around town and up and down some steps and stuff without thinking about it, so that's a good sign. I'm very happy with it. I did of course manage to sustain an injury yesterday, because what would it be like if I didn't have something hurting. Went to pull a weed out of the garden on Friday and didn't realise it was some sort of killer stinging thing from the land of Triffid, and I think like a nettle maybe, and the stems were absolutely covered in tiny fine pokey things, and I'm currently got several thorns in my thumb. Got 3 in there. What would I say, thorns? They're like fine little hairs. I can't feel them except when I squeeze and push on it. So I got 2 or 3 in that finger. That one I tried to dig yesterday. 3 in that thumb. Doesn't stop me stitching. I've got to be at death's door for me not to stitch. I can still hold the needle. It doesn't hurt to hold the needle. It's like doing that hurts. Pushing on it hurts. So gripping, but I hold the needle like this. There are no thorns there. I think they'll just dissolve in my acid blood, or might get infected, and then they'll just work their way out, won't they? Oh my gosh. So yeah, very busy week at work. I managed 2 days in the office last week. I only got to the pool one day because I stupidly forgot I was going to go to the pool on Thursday night, and I washed my hair on Thursday morning. I'm not washing it twice a day. I need to like limit washes to keep the colour in as long as I can. Yeah, I don't wash my hair twice a day, so I didn't go to the pool on Thursday night, but it's okay. Wednesday night we went to a movie. We went to see How They Run. It was quite funny. It was funny. I mean, it was a cute premise. It was very obvious, but it was sort of it's like it was trying to be a spoof of the classic murder trope, like Agatha Christie. The whole point of it was this sort of play within a murder within a play about murder within a film about murder, but with all these sort of obvious twists. But it was fun. I'd liken it in sort of feel to that one with James Bond. What's his name? Daniel Craig. Knives Out. It's kind of a similar sort of spoof. Yeah, bordering on spoof, but not spoof like the classic Airplane, or what's the cop one there where they're slapstick. It wasn't slapstick, it was just sort of edging between fast spoof and just cute little comedy. Anyway, I'd recommend it if you don't need to be cerebrally challenged. Update on my father. He is doing fine, I think. Helped him out, did remote tech support yesterday. Basically by the time I sorted through what was going on and trying to, when he goes, I don't know what the home button is. It's like, you've had an iPhone for like 5 years. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, press the home button. He needed a new cable. His cable was faulty, so it wasn't charging. It's fine. I said, if it's, he's like, oh, I can't afford a new phone. I went, I think it'll be the cable. So I said, it's usually the cable, and it was the cable. So he got that sorted. What else is going on? 3 weeks till I go to Australia. I think it's 3 weeks. Quite excited about that. Just more about having a break from holiday and seeing my sister. I do need to go costume shopping or I have an idea. My niece's 21st is going to be themed, and I was going to order something on like one of those dodgy like Alibaba or Wish or something, but I couldn't guarantee it would get there in time. So I need to go and see if I can find something, but I just haven't had time to do it. And I do have some ideas. I'll make it work. It's go as something with your initial, starting with your initial, and I'm like, worst case, I'll put my hair up, wear my glasses, and dress like and carry a couple of books around and call myself a librarian. I did used to be a librarian, so I'm comfortable. I did used to work in a library. I was never a librarian. Well, not a qualified one, so I can play the librarian. I've done the job experience. Okay, Saturday I went to the Papercraft Expo at Porirua. Didn't go to Stitching Guild. Didn't spend a lot. Didn't want to spend a lot, but unfortunately with the like scrapbooking industry and stuff, you know, it's not at its high peak anymore. A couple of stalls there selling stamped, which I don't really want to get into. Quite a few selling off the page projects, which gave me a couple of finishing ideas for cross stitch, which I'll show you in a minute. And kind of our local store, they had some new stuff, but there's a couple of shops that are just selling what I'd call old tat. You know, all the stuff stuff that we bought new 12 years ago. So it wasn't overwhelming, but it was nice to catch up with my friends. But yeah, there was one stall, and I've forgotten what they're called. During edit, I'll put their name on here for local people if you're interested. But they do laser cutting, they do paper products, and this time they had some wood stuff. So I picked up a couple of plywood shapes. I thought they could be used for finishing. This, in case you can't tell, it's an owl outline. And I thought it could be quite cool having a small, like, probably related finish on there. I don't generally do Halloween, but it could be used for, you know, a little Halloween small, an owl small, just something cute. I might paint. I'm just going to put it away. This was $5, which, given the price of lumber, of timber in New Zealand, I was surprised it was only $5. Like, I only wanted to pay $5 for it, but, you know, it's bigger than my head. I could be an owl face. But, you know, it's so expensive to buy anything in New Zealand that I thought they could have charged more. So I got that one. Again, I have no specific plans, but it was there. And the other shape that they had, which I grabbed, was this teacup. So cute. And again, you know, something could go in there, probably teacup related or something cute. So I just, again, $5, so I picked those up. So gosh, maybe I'll actually, well, first of all, to finish something on that, I'd have to stitch something that would fit on it, which I don't usually stitch anything that small. Last week's start was Fraktur 12 from Stitching Spell, a shop. I bought this on Etsy about a year ago, it turns out. A couple of people reached out and said they couldn't find the shop. And looks like it's one of the Russian sites that not only is not just available, temporary not available, it's gone from Etsy. Quite a few of them have gone. I've noticed in my favourites that quite a few of those shops that when you went into them, they said, oh, we're not available right now. I'm actually just not even there. Aussie Maria reached out to me and said, hey, I found it on a site called Inspire Uplift. And she said, doesn't know anything about it, but just if anyone was asking. So I went and had a wee look around it, and it looks like, and I found 3 of the sites that I used to sort of subscribe to, follow on Etsy or on there. So it does look like a lot of the Russian-based cross-stitch designers have moved their shops to this other platform called Inspire Uplift, which looks like it's licensed in Miami, Florida, and has a lot of really good reviews. Looks pretty legit. They use PayPal and Apple Pay and stuff. So I had a poke around, and I found 3 of the designers, and I know that my friend Christine in Dunedin is a frequenter of them. So the shop Stitching Spell, Stitch Mom Studio, and Little Fox Stitching, they're all 3 sites that I've bought from in the past, and I know other people have bought from. So if you want to go find that, yeah, Inspire Uplift. I thought I'd take one for the team, and I'd buy a couple of charts just to check out it worked okay. They're the same look and feel. Money came out of PayPal. So I bought 2 more Fraktur Birds because I do quite like them, and I guess one day in the far distant future, in a different time and place, I might have a wall of Frakturs up, who knows. So first of all, I got Fraktur 15. So Stitching Spell, that has a lot of Fraktur designs, but a lot of them are symmetrical, and for some reason, well, I can't choose, but I think that they're really lovely, but I'm just stitching with the non-symmetrical ones right now. So I bought this one. So we've got Fraktur 15, and I just liked all the fruit. So there's sort of plums and grapes and cherries and pears and all sorts of stuff. So, and then I also got Fraktur 16, and down it's the pelican. Down here it says pelican in its piety, and I like it. I mean, I bought it, so why wouldn't I like it? So the other 2 that I just picked up, I thought I'll just try out the site. Yep, pretty legit. Next week I should have my Rainbow Club and possibly Silks for You to show, because you know, they'll be coming from Catherine this week, hopefully. So it'll be nice to have something shiny and new to show you. But yeah, pretty much on with the stitching, I guess. So 3 projects came out to play this week, so we've already flashed this up a million times, but Stitching Spell by Fraktur 12 by Stitching Spell was my start for last week. So start number 35 of 50, which I was stitching on 40 count Cornstraw from Country Stitch, and using, well, I wrote down called for DMC, but I did change some colours like I suggested. And I did say to someone I would tell you what they were, but I don't have them to hand. So what I will do is get off my bum and go and get the colours. One moment. So last week when I showed you my threads on the fabric, I kind of commented on that a couple of them I wasn't happy with, and a couple of them might be a little bit too light. So I did make 4 changes, and the way I went about it was I grabbed I've got a click container, Systema container of overflow. So I've got a master set of DMC, which I usually go to when I don't need a whole lot of thread, but when I know I need a good chunk, half a skein or a full skein, I'll buy a skein, but I will go to this box first. It has any floss that's been given to me. So I've had a couple of friends who have destashed over the years or sent me floss, so that's in there. And anywhere I've bought too many skeins, might have kitted up projects and then de-kitted them, or just I'm a frugal stitcher, bought the floss that needed for 2 strands, but I stitched it over using 1 strand, whatever the reason is, I end up with extra floss. So I thought, well, I'll go to that box first and just see if I can make substitutions out of that box. And I was able to, so it meant I didn't even have to go buy anything. I had everything I needed. So the 4 colours that I changed, I've written them on the little sheet here. So one of them was, first of all, I'd sort of noted that on this mock-up, this colour in here, that tealy colour, I really liked that. But the called for that was 3052, so quite a, you know, quite a light sort of sagey green. So went through the box and I found that I had 163, which I thought looked better. And again, I wasn't looking for exact, but I just wanted something that was a little bit more close to what was in the chart. So that was there. So as soon as I found something that I liked, I just went, that's good enough. So I picked that one. Then the other one I'd mentioned was the orange, was a little bit too caramelly, 729. And in the end, I went with the other colour that I stitched the Fruits of Plenty with, 922, which of course goes really well with, so they're a little bit more orange in the picture. I probably, if I hadn't already stitched a significant amount of the orange, the dark orange, I might have changed it to 22. But I didn't have it extra and I wasn't going to go out and buy one skein, and I'm happy with it. Then the other two colours that I changed were just because they just were a little bit too light. I didn't go vastly different. The green, so the lighter green was a little bit too pale. It was called for 734 and I just dropped it down to 7. I just went to 733, so slightly darker, a little bit closer to 732. Yeah, 7. So I've got 732 and 733 instead of 732 and 734. So I just went one shade up, and yeah, I'm happy I made that. And the other one I changed was very subtle, and it's, you could argue I've gone too light still. There's not a lot of it in here, but it's 3047. I swapped for 3046. I can't even tell you where it is. It's not much, and it's not on its own, it's surrounded, so it's very similar to my fabric colour, but it's a little bit darker than the one that was called for. Other than that, they're called for colours, so. Okay, shall I show you where I got to? Just got a couple of days of dedicated stitching, so Sunday afternoon and evening, and Monday in particular, I worked on this, and that's where I got to. So all of the frame is done. I started with the grass, and then I worked my way up, and then started, so, and then, yeah, I'm starting from left to right to get the flowers and stuff in. The colour is blowing out. That's what the colour's like. So, up close, it's going to look a lot more pale, but that really light colour that I was talking about, it's not 3047, it's just like that little bit in that flower in here. That's it there, and that's all I've used of that colour so far. So it's only got little tiny bits in there. So yeah, again, that's what the colour looks like back here. I'm so happy with it. I love that little flower. So cute. So that was the my first start, my start for the week. Then I kind of was just, I don't know, in the mood for just doing lots of crosses and not much thinking. To grab something out that I haven't stitched on for ages. When I last showed you this, I was about 1%, about 1.5%. And it was my first full coverage, well, I've done full coverage, first 7 years I should say, which this chart was a rack from Danny, the Cardiff Stitcher. And it's Mystic Moments 1 by Linda Ravenscroft. And I decided to pick it up. I'm stitching it on 20 count Aida. I had a false start at the beginning of the year. It was my New Year's start, and then I didn't like the fabric. I started it on 22 count Hardanger and just didn't like how it was stitching. So I changed for 20 count Aida, called for DMC, and I restarted it on the 14th of January. So just before my 50 at 50. And I did quite a lot. And I'm now just over, a hair over 5%. So I've stitched about 4% of this. And I even abandoned it because the alarm went off and I had to leave. And I've even got a thread. I never leave a thread dangling. I have a thread dangling. I've got all the way across the bottom. Last time I think I'd got just past halfway. I was about here, so I stitched all of that, quite a bit in here, filled in here, quite a bit here. So pretty, well, I mean, most of it, because I was less than 2% and now I'm just over 5%. And it's a lot of crosses. So all around here, these little bits here are getting very close to down here with the signature, I think it is. And these paving stones and stuff. So I'm, just working my way in here. My intention, because, I mean, there is a lot of background, but there's also a lot of not background. At least the background isn't, I'd say, it might be 30% of the chart, and I've done 5. I'm going to carry on and work in the background. I mean, I include those paving stones in here. I'm going to continue with the background until I get 10%. I'm not saying this week, but I want to get 10% of the chart done just on background before I start on the fun bit in the middle, which is, to be fair, confetti. A lot of confetti. So it will be slower, but it'll be more fun, I guess. I don't know. Like, for me, an X is an X. Like, if I have to stitch 300 X's in one colour versus 300 X's not in one colour, this is quicker because you're just stitching, whole strands. But I think that I don't want to stitch all of her and then be left with, 30% of the chart all in background. So I'm kind of rewarding myself. If I get another 5%, so it'll be a little bit more up here, and there's quite a bit still more in here to do. Just keep filling in here and working my way up, and then I'll be able to start in essentially the middle bit. So I do also have mystic moments too. So if you hang around long enough for several years, when I finish this, I'll then start Mystic Moments 2, her sister piece, who is facing the other way. Don't have it here. Not identical, but very similar. AKA the background is not identical, but very similar. So I'll probably have stitched something like, I don't even know how big this chart is. I didn't write it down. It's on Pattern Keeper. It's a lot of cream and beige, but she's going to look amazing. I can't wait to do a skirt. Of course, yeah, it's going to be fun. So there you go, Danny. I finally picked it up after a big hiatus, and I just felt like stitching yesterday because I was going to Tracy, or because I knew that I was going to Tracy's for a couple of hours and I wasn't going to have great lighting and stuff. I needed to take with me a 32 count project to work on. So lovely Rachael got pulled out. My start from a couple of weeks ago, Rachael Holmes, Heartstring Samplery by Beth Twist, and which I'm stitching on 32 count Light Mocha, maybe Zweigart, maybe Weeks. I don't think it's Weeks, but I had written Weeks down, but it's got a weird, it's got a weird dark overlocking, so it might be Weeks, tie Weeks. Mystery 32 count linen, which, yeah, I got a little bit more done, which is quite exciting. So last time you saw it, I'd stitched the dark green vines all the way across. So when I was at Tracy's yesterday, I picked this up and filled in all the rest of the green, and then I started on the flowers, and I got all of the flowers stitched this morning, and then a little bit extra outline in. So in here there's a row of grey birds, and then over here is the big section that I'm really looking forward to. Did I say really looking forward to? Is here with all the eyelets. Well, some of it's cross stitch and some of it's eyelets. So there's yeah, sort of like, it's gonna look really awesome. And then over here is, yeah, so there's the grey birds and then there's back stitching and stuff in there. So they're the fun sections. And then after that, so the next time I tackle it, I'll probably get the birds done and then I'll start on the eyelets. Right, the next couple of weeks are going to be a bit, I'm going to cram a few extra starts in to give me a little bit of wiggle room around Australia. So I may not start anything when I'm in Australia, or even the Sunday I get the week of, so I'm going to have a couple of starts over each of the next 2 weeks. That's a little bit exciting, all for sort of particular dates. So coming up, I thought I'd give you a quick flick through what they are. So this week coming, I'm not going to start anything until the 23rd, and it's going to be start number 36, and that will be for spring equinox, or the astrological first day of spring. And I'm going to start an autumn design because whatever, but it is called Bittersweet September by Blackbird Designs. So that's going to be on, this from the Winds of Autumn book, which Sian kindly gifted to me. So I'm going to be on 36 count Patriots Brute from R&R, which Judith kindly gifted to me, because I had mentioned I'd never stitched on R&R fabric. So she's gave me a little piece of it, and that's what it looks like. This is just copied from the book. So yeah, I'll be starting that. And I have all the called for threads, which are just, if you know me and my colours, they are just, and I'm not going to use that much because it's tiny, but there are other designs in this book. So that's pretty cool. So luscious, luscious. And the fabric is this little piece here. So a wee piece of Patriots Brew. So that will be a start for first day for spring equinox. Start number 37 is going to be 2 days later. So next Sunday. So I guess I'm telling you what I'm stitching next Sunday, but I have to tell you about what I'm stitching next Monday, which is why I'm telling you about next Sunday. So next Sunday is the first day of daylight saving in New Zealand, and you may remember, those of you who were back, I had 2 designs that I wanted to stitch for daylight that were to do with light. So I had Lighting the Way and this one, Lampposts, and I decided to start Lighting the Way, which I started and finished. That's from Silver Creek, I think. So that one I started for daylight saving ending this year, and then I parked Lampposts, which is going to be for daylight saving starting. Now this is another one that was disappeared off Etsy because it was one of the Russian shops, and it's from Stitch Mom Studio, which I finally worked out who it was. They are on that same Inspire Uplift site. So if you want to find this, if you didn't, that's where you can find this. And so this will be started next Sunday when I'm going to do the big drawing for my 1,000 giveaways. And this is going to be on, I want it nice and moody, like the light's about to come on, Twilight. Lilac Grove by 35 count Lilac Grove by Country Stitch. So it'll be next Sunday's start. And I'm slightly modified the called for because one of the colours wouldn't have shown up on this fabric. Again, I want it nice and dark and moody. So all of the called for, so the blue, called for are these colours here, and grey. I think I went darker with the grey, so I went from 414 to 413, so because the 414 was just going to blend in, and then I've got an extra purple as well. So it's going to be very moody, and it's going to be really cool, I reckon. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So that will be, yeah, giving you a preview of next week. Then I'm fitting in an extra start. Well, not an extra start, I'm just bringing a slot forward. So Susie Lambert reached out, and she has stitched, what has she done? Keys of the Kingdom by Rosewood Manor, and I saw her work in progress at the Christchurch stitching retreat last year, where she was embellishing her piece with a whole lot of different ornamental keys that she'd sourced from all sorts of places. And it was really cool. And I do one day want to do Keys of the Kingdom. But we talked previously about having Crowns of the Kingdom. So I had this ages ago, and she said, why don't we start it on Monday, the 26th? So on Monday the 26th, New Zealand is having a one-off public holiday to hold a state funeral, I guess, day of memorial for Queen Elizabeth II. And so we've all got a public holiday on that day. I think, you know, the UK have this Monday off as a bank holiday, so people can have a day off for the funeral. And I think Australia's having a day off as well. You know, we're a Commonwealth country, so she said, why don't we stitch this? I was like, sure, anyway, when I was talking to her about it, I didn't have this in my fully kitted up box. And I was like, yeah, I know I've got fabrics. I bought a fat half of 32 count antique white, which I want to stitch all these on. I said, oh, I'll sort out the metallics. I've got plenty, or I thought I can order some from Catherine or whatever. I already had all the metallics. Like, what a munter. I forgot that this was one that I bought all the called for metallics for. So I've got all the Petite Treasure braid for it. It's all in Petite Treasure braid is what's charted. And so I cut myself a piece of 32 count antique white, and it's all ready to go. And she is going to sort it out. She's going to stitch hers from stash, I think, using whatever she's got. And she plans to embellish with some, like, potentially replace some of the little crowns with, you know, charms and other things. So I'm going to do pretty much called for, and she's going to do her own thing. So we're going to start this on Monday, the 26th. New Zealand's Day of Memorial for it. So yeah, I'm squeezing that one in, and that will be start number 38, and that will be a start along. I'll try not to stitch it too fast. I'll start it, but I do want to get Griffins of the Kingdom finished, and I haven't stitched on that since the first week I picked it up. So I'm going to wrap it up. It's 10 to 1. I need to get it edited and up and everything, and because it's a long one, it's going to be painful. Thanks a lot for coming along to watch me lose my mind again, and I appreciate you all, and your kind comments and your support. That was support, not sport. Don't forget, if you haven't already and you want to be in on my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which is quite a nice one, I think, you need to go and watch video FLOSSTUBE number 140. There are rules in there. There's some stuff you have to do to be in the draw. It is near the end, so you can fast forward, but please be a subscriber. Go have a look at that. Comment on that video with what you want to, how you want to enter, and I will be drawing the winners next week, so you have until I do that. So to be sure, make sure you comment by Friday-ish, because I'll be doing the screenshots probably on, no, I'll probably do it live. I'll do it live on my video, but I'll have to use my tablet to random comment, whatever. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you all next week. If you're enjoying your stitching, be kind, be safe, and as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.